Okay, family. First of all, I'd just like to say welcome to Grown Folks Talkin, Express Yourself Progressive Podcast Network. I am your host, Mr. Forrest Nance. And before I start, I would just like to know if my guest is on. Sister Gwen DeBrow, are you on, sister? Sister DeBrow, you may be on mute, sister. All right, going once, going twice. Sister DeBrow, Gwendolyn DeBrow, are you on? Okay. Mr. Williams, I'm going to ask you to stop the recording, sir. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, welcome to Grown Folks Talk and Express Yourself Progressive Podcast Network. I just spoke to my guest, the wonderful Sister Gwen DeBrow, all right, and she should be on. Sister Gwen, are you on, sister? Well, she should be coming in shortly. I just spoke to her, and she said she would be coming in. So, Sister Gwen, you might be on mute. You could take yourself off mute. Okay. I hope she's not having difficulty with her phone, because when I called her, I think she had a little technical. I might have to bring her in myself. Okay. All right. Gwen DeBrow, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, there you go, sis. All right. You might have been talking on mute, sister. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, because I'm on borrowed time. I know the sister had something to do, and she was gracious enough. I should have gave her the mic check a day or two before she was scheduled to come on. But like I said, I'm just glad to have her. If you guys remember, I had her on. And our topic tonight is a brother who is unfortunately incarcerated, and he's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's why they hid the information. And we're fighting for the brother. And when Sister Gwen does the next bus ride, I'm going to get some grown folks talking people, and we're going to take a ride over there to the courthouse. And we're going to join with our other brothers and sisters. That's how we meet people, family. And we're going to stand firm for Mumia Abu Jamal's release. So, and I've stayed in contact with Gwen since the last show. So I'm sure she has something she wants to say. She'll give us an update. And like I said, we're on her time. So however many minutes she would like to grace us with, we're in debt of gratitude here at Grown Folks Talking Network. And also, just to let you guys know, this is the first time I've mentioned it to Gwen, that next summer, I've already put it out there, we're going to have a Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Network and Health Forum over here in Newark, New Jersey. And it's going to be from 12 noon. So far I'm looking at 12 to 4, but we're going to try to extend it for 2 hours. All right? And we'd like Sister Gwen to come over from Brooklyn, because we're going to roll out the red carpet for her and some other people. And I'm going to have her on as a guest speaker in person. All right? She might want to bring whoever she likes with her, and wonderful vegan food, because, we've got to take care of Mother Earth. But without further ado, family, I would like to welcome our dear sister. She's in the struggle, like we all are. We all struggle each day, not only with quality of life issues, but having to fight back what they're trying to put in place that is very dysfunctional, because we have some psychopaths that are in power, and we have to fight back. But like Sister Issa says, it's just a matter of time, because their time is up. So, Sister DeBrow, peace and blessings to you and your family. Wherever you like to pick up, sister, I'm handing you the mic, and go right ahead, sister.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for having me on. And I'd like to say that Mumir's he's holding his own. Right now he's working on his PhD, believe it or not, and he's also writing a book. And Mumia has been in the struggle since he's been a teenager, actually. Frankly, the whole reason why he joined the Black Panthers is because he was at a protest at a very young age with his friends, and there was a mob there, and they got to whooping his behind because he was protesting a very right-wing nominee for the presidency of the United States. His name is escaping me right now. I wish I knew the name. But anyway, Mumia and his buddies were out there protesting, and virtually, and the cops got in on it. He was beaten very badly. When his mother went to the hospital to see him, she could barely recognize him. Mm. And the judge just let him go. The cops tried to say that they attacked them, and that wasn't so. They were very peaceful. And virtually what happened is the cops beat Mumia into founding the Black Panther Party local in Philadelphia. That's basically how. And then he became a target as the Black Panthers became a target. J. Edgar Hoover said that the Black Panther Party was a threat to the stability of the United States. It's that deep. And the cops were watching him ever since. He's been pretty much in the struggle for the liberation of his people. And all we want and we deserve is to be left alone and to determine our own destiny. That's all we want. We want what we've earned. We have been toiling this country since the beginning of time, since 1619, I believe, is when slavery. We were enslaved in this country, and we've been under their thumb pretty much ever since. And actually, where Mumia's case is right now, currently it's in the Pennsylvania Superior Court. They are appealing the latest ruling by the judge, what is her name? Commons. No, it's not. What is her name? I'm trying to think of her name. Anyway, she ruled against Mumia. Mumia had very good reason for appealing his case. There was a exculpatory evidence that revealed that during his trial, one of the witnesses was a cab driver who was a white cab driver who was charged with throwing a Molotov cocktail at a school, and he was driving his cab without a license. And he claims that he saw Mumia shoot the cop, and that couldn't be so because photos were revealed to show that his cab was nowhere in the scene on December 9th, 1981. And we just learned that he was asking, where's my money? He was asking the district attorney. There was a note that was found that he wrote to the district attorney, where's my money? And the judge basically turned down Mumia's appeal for political reasons. I guess maybe she's afraid of the FOP. She's also probably looking to go further in her judicial career. And let's face it, when the cops act like animals, you tend to be a little bit afraid of them. And so you bend to their will, unfortunately. Judge Clemens, that's her name, Judge Lucretia Clemens, a black woman who was appointed by Governor Wolf to that seat, to her current position. So Mumia has a huge hurdle to climb because the climate in Philadelphia is just so against him that it's going to be nearly impossible to overcome. But we're gonna keep at it. We're going to keep at it until we gain his freedom, because we know without a doubt that he did not kill that police officer. They don't even have fingerprints to point him that he pulled the trigger and killed this officer. All they have is so-called witnesses that claim that they saw Mumia do it, and those witnesses are, not to be relied on. Like I said, there was a note that was recently discovered where Robert Chobert wrote the district attorney asking, "Where's my money?" So, we're hoping that the Pennsylvania Superior Court will at least encourage her to review the case, to at least have a hearing, and let's hear from Robert Chobert's, mouth what that note was all about, and, put him on the stand and find out whether he actually was on the scene. We already know that he wasn't, because we discovered pictures that illustrate that he was not on the scene at all. He was nowhere he was maybe in the district, but he wasn't where he said he was.
Sister Gwen.
Yes.
Quick question. I remember when you came on last time, you mentioned that someone found a box in a storage room where they keep evidence that was all the way in the back, and it was hidden underneath some other boxes. Now, that note that you're referring to, was that note in the box that they suppressed, that was suppressed information in regards to Mumia? Now, who has that letter, sis? I mean, that note, rather.
Well, we have it. Mumia's attorneys have that information.
Good.
That note that was written by a compromised witness, a cab driver who was driving without a license and currently had an open case pending against him. So he had every reason to testify against Mumia. And there was also a prostitute, Cynthia Williams, who testified against Mumia. She claims that she saw him, Mumia, shoot a police officer, and she was nowhere on the scene either. So they discovered that she was getting preferable treatment. She had a whole bunch of cases against her, and the exculpatory evidence that was revealed some years ago, maybe about 3 years ago now, that were tucked away in a storeroom that prosecutor Larry Krasner found and handed over to us. Well, he had to, because the judge ordered him to turn over those 31 boxes, or 32, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And it was also revealed, like I said, that the DA intervened in Cynthia White's pending cases as well. And the other thing is that the jury was stacked against Mumia also. There was evidence that the jury was pretty much prejudicial against Mumia as well. So they discovered that the jury was basically it wasn't a fair jury. They kept blacks off the jury. There were two originally, and one asked to be excused because just for one day, because she had to take her cat to the doctor. And Judge Sable, the racist judge, who said during Mumia's trial, just before the trial, he was going to help the prosecution fry the nigger. That was litigated as well, but that also didn't get anywhere. And Judge Sable never admitted, he never said it, he didn't say that, by the way. And he's dead. He's no longer with us, but Mumia still is. And as long as Mumia has breath and we're still here, we're going to fight. We're going to stay in the struggle, because it's the right thing to do. Any one of us that could happen to. You could be in a situation, and we know that cops lie, just like anyone else. They're no different. They don't walk on water. And they plant evidence against people that they don't like. or just to make it further in their career. It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time. I saw on a website this young man that was framed and did time, Jeffrey Deskovich. He's someone you should have on, too. Jeffrey Deskovich was convicted of killing a young girl, and he did 16 years in prison for something he didn't do, and DNA basically exonerated him. But he went back. Once he was exonerated, he turned around and sued the state, and he opened up he has a foundation, a practice where he obviously he tries to help other people get from under, get exonerated. He actually became a lawyer himself. And on his website, I read, it's estimated that they believe there's about over 100,000 people that are in prison wrongfully.
Yes.
That's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
Over 100,000 people. And it's because if you don't have proper representation, someone is really not advocating for you. You're going to get thrown under the bus because the DAs, the district attorneys, have all the power. They have all the resources, and police, they frame people, and the DA goes along with it because they're trying to stay in that position. They're trying to maybe become a judge someday. All they care about is winning. That's the bottom line, and they don't really care. It's not about justice for them. Well, for a typical DA, it's not. It's about winning.
Right. Well, Sister Gwen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. We got it twice as bad because, and this isn't the program where we're talking about how, but we do on this network on different shows, that an agenda with the elite is to depopulate the world. And, of course, this is another way of getting rid of people of color and poor people. See, so it's also a human family situation. So the thing is like with our dear brother Mumia, right? And just like Mutulu Shakur, who unfortunately passed away not too long ago, we had a brother, Dr. Kokai, who came on here, and he left Washington to help the brother reverse his cancer. So obviously, when they're feeding you, they could be putting something in your food. They could be releasing some type of airborne toxin that eventually will slowly kill you. All right? And I do believe they do this because if you look at the history of what we went through in this country, and when they went to war with other people, gassing other civilizations, Vietnam is a good example, Iraq, they said Assad, that, and this is under the Obama administration, that he basically gassed his people. But if you look at Syria now, I believe it's in northern Syria, they have left troops there to guard the oil fields. That's why they go in different countries, and if they can't create a coup, right, then they'll outright just kill you. And that's what NATO is in place for, all right? So, once again, in this country, all right, with our dear brother Mumia, like you said, the struggle continues. Now, I know they have a prison radio, and I've heard Mumia speak very shortly on this prison radio, and he speaks to the public for a short period of time. Now, does Mumia broadcast? And if so, because my historian teaches on the other end, he marks everything down. Like he said, he goes to sleep with a pen in his hand, and he wakes up with a pen in his hand. Where can the listeners go if Mumia is on prison radio to hear what he's saying? And how long does he go beyond like 5 or 10 minutes? Is there a certain allotted time that he can speak, like maybe for a half an hour or an hour? Are you familiar or privy to that, Sister Gwen?
Yes, I'm familiar with the website. It's prisonradio.org, and Noel Hanrahan basically founded that website, put it together, and you can hear commentaries. But commentaries are generally, they go under 4 minutes. He's allowed 15 minutes basically to call family or whatever, but he can't no longer than that. And the conversation is recorded, as you know.
Right.
So basically he only has 15 minutes to talk to his family, and I guess he'll do a commentary. She'll record it, and that's about 4 minutes, I would say. So they can go on that website to hear the commentaries, and they can go to the campaign, bringmumiahome.com to there's a little bit of information about the case, not a lot, but basically they can go to that website to see the latest, that maybe an event is going to be, I'm actually going to be organizing an event with the Mumia Health Committee. We're going to have something in mid-October about Mumia's case. It's going to be like a report back. And obviously it's not going to be just about Mumia. We'll have a report on RAP, which is an organization geared towards getting legislation passed in the New York State legislature to release older people, release aging people in prison. That's what RAP stands for. And It has a good possibility of actually passing. And that would help everybody. It wouldn't be just for political prisoners. It would be for people over 55 who've done a significant amount, 15 years, 20, 25 years, for them to have an opportunity to go to the parole board to, show that they, have rehabilitated themselves.
Right. Now,
so that's what they're working on there in New York.
Right. Well, sister, let me ask you a question. Who or what body of legislation in New York State would have to sign off on that? Is that where the governor signs off on that or what?
The New York State legislature, the Senate, and the Assembly. They have bills in each house, and I understand that there's 33 people that have already signed off on it, but they have to come out of the committee, and both committees actually the Democratic Party has the majority in the Senate and the Assembly. So it's very important for that piece of legislation to get out of the committee and for them to vote on it, because we have too many people in prison. It's ridiculous. The United States, and believe it or not, has the most people incarcerated, and Russia, and that's against China. They don't have 2 million people in prison.
Mm-mm.
They don't. They don't.
Yeah. They say that 25% of the incarcerated people in the world are right here in the United States. Ain't that
That's
something?
right. That's a huge number.
Yes, it is.
And they look at it. They're going to look at it. They're going after Julian Assange. They want to extradite him from I think he's in England. He's in a prison in England. They're going to bring him back, or just for telling the truth about the crimes that the United States committed in Iraq. The war crimes. The war crimes. And that. What about the free press? We don't have the free press anymore now. People can't. It's insanity. We have too many people in prison, and we need to do something about that. There's no reason why a 70-year-old person who has demonstrated the capacity to change and has, the ability, his family ready to accept him back and help him, that individual get on their feet and get acclimated back into society. There's no reason why they have to remain in prison. It costs them more to take care of someone who's elderly. But it's really more for punishment. It's really just a means of perpetual punishment. That's all it is, and particularly toward people of color. It's to lock us up and to destroy our families.
There you go, like they've done from slavery even up until now,
Right.
And let me say this to you, sister. They don't mind paying a little more because they control the money. But what they're scared of is if that brother comes out, he gets a following, and next thing you know, he has a following that's speaking out against injustice, all right, which, they try to, silence you when you're speaking truth to power. And that's one less Negro that's out here speaking against the system. So that's why they want to keep him incarcerated, and they don't want him to basically speak up when he comes out, because I'm sure the brother is going to come out with as much fierceness coming out as he did when he went in, even though he's a little older now. But he might be influential to some other young brothers out here that might want to carry the torch that he put out here a while back. And speaking of the Black Panther Party, you see what they did to Fred Hampton, and he was 21, and the brother was right. He was a mover and a shaker, and he got set up by his security, just like Malcolm did with his security. So you have to watch who you surround yourself with, because we have agent provocateurs in our culture. And sometimes it's just so unfortunate that sometimes you think that you have to look at a different type of tone that may be, anyway, right here, people that look just like us are the sellouts. Or as Mr. Williams said, who's my DJ and my Africana studies teacher in high school, you know, it's just another face, another black face in a high place. And, you know, those of us who have sold out, all right, just an extension of the institutionalized racism in this country. That's what it boils down to. And, of course, they want to suppress what we do. So, sister, like I said, you're doing something in October, wonderful. And I'm going to get some people to come in, okay, and we're going to support you guys. Grown folks is going to have some seats on their bus so early. So, sister, put us on the agenda, all right. In the meantime, are there any questions? I'm opening up for Q&A for Sister DeBrow. If you guys would like to make a comment or ask the sister a question pertaining to Brother Mumia, please step up to the podium and ask now. Take yourself off mute. All right, I know I have some listeners out there. Maybe you guys didn't hit the mute button.
Hey, Forrest.
Comment or question? There's Brother Rashad. Yes, sir, my brother.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, brother.
Okay, I just want to thank Sister Brown for the update on Mumia. And I always pray for him because, you know, he's a good brother. He's innocent. And it's just a shame how they just will not let him go, and they know he's innocent, you know, but just got to keep fighting, like the sister said, got to keep fighting, can't give up. Sooner or later, I've seen and heard stories of brothers who've been locked up, gentlemen they just let out. Last week, I think he was locked up for 43 years for a rape he didn't commit. And they finally let him go, and because of DNA. And then the person who did it confessed. He spent 43 of his life for nothing. You know, it's sad to see our men and sisters also being locked up for things they have never committed. You know, there's too many of them, you know, and it hurts to see that. So, as I said, Mumia is one of them. No doubt in my mind that he's innocent. He is innocent. There's no doubt in my mind. So, again, Sister Brown, appreciate you giving us an update. And I hope to see you next year when we have this program where we invite everybody to come. We hope you'll come, and hopefully by that time, Mumia will be free.
Yeah, anything is possible. Because
that's right.
Every time you turn around, there's a political prisoner that's been came home. Finally, oh gosh, I can't think of his name. In California, he was released recently. Man, I can't think of his name.
Okay.
Maybe at the end of by the end of the show, I'll think of it.
Right.
It's not Rochelle McGee. Oh, yeah, it's Rochelle McGee.
Oh, okay.
He was finally released, but after spending nearly 68 years in prison.
Yeah,
and he wasn't even in there for murder. It wasn't even he wasn't in there. He was there when it happened, but he didn't pull the trigger on the judge or I think it was a court officer that died. There was two people that were killed, but he wasn't the trigger man. But of course they have to have somebody in prison, for some, for whatever reason, because they got to lock up somebody, obviously. So, he was poor and didn't probably have a public defender, and he was there at the scene, but he wasn't the person who pulled the trigger. And he just was released at 83 years old. And fortunately, he has family that's going to step in to see that his needs are met. Thank God, that there's somebody, that he has still family that was still advocating for him and ready to, to take care of an elderly person. He's elderly. He's, working with a walker, I understand. But he's still, I mean, he's 80-something. He was in prison since he was about 18. They robbed him of his life.
Wow. That is crazy.
18 years old.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. He could have came home 40 years ago. Could you imagine 67 years in prison?
Shit, man.
That's a long time. And God bless that brother. Rochelle McGee is finally home.
Wow.
After doing 67 years in prison. And like I said, it wasn't even murder. It was because he was on the scene, when it happened. But he's home. He's home. Sundiata's home. Herman Bell is home. Sekou Odinga is home. So it can be done. You just have to keep up the work.
Yes.
Keep pushing, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to give up, give in, and just forget about it and, let it. No, we can't do that. No. Not to Mumia. No. No way. No way, no how. No way, no how. And
can I say something real quick?
Well, hold on. Let her finish for a minute. Okay, so sis, finish your thought, and then we'll bring Sister Adrienne in. Hold on, Sister Adrienne. Go ahead, sis.
Basically, what it's going to take, Mumia has to become a person that everybody knows who he is, particularly in Philadelphia. He has to be well known. We have to make make him, I guess, I don't even know what to say. I'm trying to think of the correct words, but that movement that got him off of death row has to basically, we have to reignite the movement, and he has to become, someone that people know about. And when that happens, I think they're going to let him go, and particularly in Philadelphia. He has to be someone that they want to fight for. He has to become a core celeb in Philadelphia, and when that happens, they'll let him go. They'll let him go because they know he didn't do it. He doesn't have the character that would do such a thing like that. I read some of his the FBI file. I read some of it. And even in their files, they said that the Negro male showed no propensity toward violence. Their own words, not mine.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, okay.
But here we are, 69, and he's still there.
Well, Sister DeBrow, hold on for a minute. Adrienne, go ahead, sis.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing as she was saying. It just seems like you said it earlier. They get their hands on you and they figure, we got one, whether it's guilty or not. And they're not going to let it go because it's going to make us look bad now if we got to let them go. So we're going to hold them. As long as you're not going to fight, I'm going to hold on to you, But it's a shame that these things are happening. Every time I hear it, I get I'm bothered by it, but unfortunately, I don't do. I know, even when I was younger, in my younger days, it was more I could do, and I don't. And I thank you for standing up for people like me that's not doing what they. Well, I can do less now than I did before because my parents were always heavy into that political stuff, and I didn't pick up the ball and keep it going in my family. But it happens.
But you're listening. It still knows you know who he is, so that's important too. Everybody can do something. I mean, at least you know who he is, and you know that the judicial system is stacked against people of color and poor people. I mean, if Mumia had the representation that Cosby had, he would have never did a day in jail, or the representation that O.J. Simpson had, because obviously he was guilty. Guilty as the day is long. The man.
Yeah, and everybody knows it. He still got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
he got away with murder.
Thank you for what you do, and I know you're part of a group. And keep it up. Don't give up.
Yeah, just say a prayer for me. If you could do that, that will go a long way. Keep them in your thoughts.
I can do that.
Keep them in your prayers, and prayer and work and prayer. It's an awesome combination.
Yes,
and
it is.
We're gonna work until Mumia is free.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to say this. Thank you, Sister Adrian, for that commentary. And I'd just like to say this. As long as I have breath in my body and I have this network up here, we will always bring to my listeners, all right, on my show, all right, an update on Brother Mumia. And like I said, hopefully one day I'll be able to turn on the channel and say, guess what, y'all? Brother Mumia is free. Okay?
It's free. Amen to that. Amen to that. And
that'd be a blessing.
One more thing I'd like to say, which I didn't mention. Mumia's papers are going to be archived at Brown University, and they're going to have a 3-day conference about Mumia, actually on starting on September 27th. And I guess I'll get your email at some point. You can send me your email, and I'll send you the information of how to register, because the first night is going to be live streamed. And then they're going to 2 days after about the prison industrial complex, and they're going to be focused on Mumia's case as well. So Brown University has accepted Mumia's papers. They're going to be archived there, and they're going to have a 3-day conference about the prison industrial complex, and Mumia will be the focus starting September 27th.
Well, let me say this, Sister. All right, Brown. This, because I don't know if you're familiar with Rumble and Odyssey. It's more free speech on there because they're censoring everything on Facebook, YouTube, and the more acceptable shows go on YouTube. But after I record this, with your permission, it's going to go up on Odyssey because a lot of the so-called radicals, regardless of ethnicity, that's where they go to voice their concerns about the jab. See, now that I mentioned jab, now this can go on YouTube. And also talking about Mumia, because remember, there was a situation over here in Orange, New Jersey, where a school teacher, you said you were privy to the information, you knew about it, and I got a call, a friend of mine, Rayfield. He was a former councilman in Orange, New Jersey. He said he knew the lady. And they were just writing letters to Mumia to help cushion the fact that he's incarcerated, and they want to send him letters of prosperity and
to get well.
Right.
And to get well, because during that time he was suffering from hepatitis.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew about it, and she asked the students if they wanted to write a goodwill letter or note to him, and they said, yeah, why not? And for that, she was fired, and now she teaches in California.
Oh, she's in California?
Yes, she's in California.
Okay. Wow. And see, and what happened was I heard the PBA put pressure on the Board of Education,
yes.
And that's when they let her go. But I'm glad the sister found
employment.
employment, yeah, I'm trying to think of a better quality of life also where she is. That's what I want to say. Of course, she got the employment, but that's beautiful that she's doing something. I'm gonna reach out to her. Do you talk to her or what?
No, but she's a Facebook friend, so I could probably. She might be on my. She might be a Facebook friend. I know I haven't seen her post in a while, but I think I still have her in my Facebook friend list.
Okay,
so I'll take a look though.
I appreciate it. I'll be in contact with you. Fine. You know my number, sis. I like to get a sister a call. Even if she was in Timbuktu, I'll reach out to her. She can come on here and give us her take on what happened and what she went through. Because that's what we do on my show and other shows up here. Miss Adrienne, she has her own show. And at the end, we always let people give shout-outs to what they're doing for their upcoming shows, But that's very vital, what you said, And like I said, as long as I'm up here, sis, we're going to post this podcast, this particular podcast, on Odyssey because a lot of people who are progressive-minded and right-minded people, the kind of people you like to be around, they're trying to go for solutions and not just talk. They're on that particular network and they tune in to the Odyssey. I don't know if you're familiar with that. And I'm gonna put this up so people can understand who's Mumia. Well, Sister DeBrow at the end of this show will give out her contact information. So going up on the network, family, if you need to know more about Mumia or if you want to give her more exposure, all right, you call Sister Gwendolyn DeBrow, or I'm added more to it, Gwen DeBrow. All right, she'll give you her contact information. I think I heard Dr. James. Dr. James, you want to come in and say something? I thought he chimed in behind Miss Adrienne. I could have sworn I heard his voice. But it doesn't necessarily have to be Dr. James in that order. Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment?
Yes, it's Dr. James.
All right. Go ahead.
I was on mute.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, I just want to ask, still, why haven't y'all tried to go to the Supreme Court with this? Haven't they tried? The U.S. Supreme Court.
Yes, Mumia has been, but they won't take his case because it's too political. They won't take the case. They won't take the case. But what they did do a few years back in 2016, there was a case brought to the Supreme Court regarding prejudice against an individual. This guy Williams brought a case.
I was pushing back there, but I can't turn it off. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, this guy Williams brought a case to the Supreme Court regarding his conviction and an appeal, and basically what the case centered on was the fact that the prosecutor in his case was the same person to review it during the appeal. His case during the appeal, and the Supreme Court thankfully did rule. Well, that's when it was more leaning towards the center left, you could say. They did rule that was improper and that was a violation of his constitutional rights, and that actually was the precipice for reopening and an appeal on Mumia's case, because the same prosecutor, Ronald Castile, was the same one in Mumia's case who fought to have him executed when he was the DA during Mumia's trial. So it's the same. It's the same old. So
no, I understand, but listen, you said that's precedent. So now, since that's precedent, even though he tried to go to the Supreme Court before and they wouldn't take the case, now since you have precedence, he can try to go back with that precedence to the Supreme Court. Not to say that they're going to rule in his favor, but now he has a case that I assume wasn't there.
They already made a decision regarding that.
Did he have the case when he went there?
No, they can't. They already ruled that it was a violation of Williams' rights, and when Mumia's attorneys brought the same case back to the Common Pleas Court, the Common Pleas Court judge ruled in Mumia's favor, and that was the reason why we were able to to get the case heard, and his case was, and he granted Leon Tucker, who was a black Republican judge, said that even the appearance of impropriety or prejudice was a basis for opening up and granting Mumia's appeals. So that was the reason. So he can't appeal. There's no reason to go back to the Supreme Court. But anyway, yeah. So his fight is basically at the Common Pleas Court, and this.
But when you go,
woman,
I don't know about Pennsylvania, but I know New Jersey. When you go to the Common Pleas Court, you can take that all the way up to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, right? Is that the way it goes? Go to appellate court against Pennsylvania Supreme Court. When you get to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, if they deny it or refuse to hear it, then the Constitution says you can take that to the U.S. Supreme Court again. Because once I'm not a lawyer, but I know that once it goes to the state Supreme Court, if they deny it or whatever, you are allowed to ask the Supreme Court to look at it. They may not give them a trial again, or they may not look at it again, but you could try again. That's all I'm saying, you know.
Yes,
I know the lawyers know that, but it's a lot of work. You know.
Well, that's what they get. You know, that's their field. So yeah, no, you're right. He can take his case to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, who are very right wing and very prejudicial against Mumia. Because I read rulings that they, you know, I've read papers regarding Mumia's case, and when it was at the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, because what they wanted to do was to remove Krasner for the as DA, because they thought that he was prejudiced and he was in favor of Mumia and he was going to work to free Mumia, which is not the case. They're wearing for it. Like I said, they have not. They are ready, set, and able to see Mumia spend the rest of his days in prison. They're upholding the conviction. So he's not Krasner, who was supposedly a liberal. I mean, he is a liberal, but he's not. You know, he's not all that's cracked up to be. But what I will say is, under his tenure, 28 people have been exonerated. That's a lot of people in Pennsylvania. That wouldn't have happened under the former DA. 28 people. So Mumia is the most well-known case. But, you know, like I said, Mumia is political. And a lot of people made their bones on putting Mumia in prison, putting him on death row, and sentencing him to life without the possibility of parole. So a lot of, people, like I said, Rendell was DA during the time.
In Pennsylvania, are the Supreme Court justices appointed by the governor?
Now that I don't know. I
know they are in New Jersey. See, that's another way it could be political, too, because depending on who's the governor, they appoint those people on the Supreme Court all the time, you know, when they have an opening or whatever. I know in New Jersey, they only give them like a certain amount of years, like I think 6 years, and then they got to get reappointed. So it also depends on who's the governor and so forth. That determines who's going to be on the state Supreme Court. So even if it was taken there, 6 years ago or whatever, they may not be the same people on the court, depending on who's the governor. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm just those are just some ideas. Huh? All right, thank you for your information.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being there.
Thank you,
Dr.
James. Yes, thank you, Dr. James. And one thing we all have to be mindful of, the system is not for us. Occasionally, when we get someone exonerated or they're proven innocent, they have to do that. They can't run a straight track record of always being on the right side of the law, and it's quite obvious wrong. So every now and then, some of us will get a little justice, but it's still not enough. All right. So whoever's being put into place, they have to serve the system, and the system is not designed for us as a people. That's why a lot of our past leaders have told us separate, or if you're going to work in the system, be for the people, and don't at the last minute be a sellout, or there was a name for it back in the day. The initials are UT and AJ, Aunt Jemima and Uncle Tom. And there's a lot of them going around even to this very, very day, all right, sellouts in the name of institutionalized, as Mr. or Professor Sanford Williams would say, all right, an extension of the institutionalized racism, all right. And we all know when it's not in our favor. We all know that. And Mumia, unfortunately, is a prime example of injustice, being incarcerated. But he's a threat. And you heard what Sister DeBrow said. When they read, J. Edgar Hoover said that the Black Panther Party was a threat to the stabilization of the United States. But really what he's saying was the power elite, all right, because they want to control, okay? And y'all remember that incident, that time that the Panthers ran up there in the State House in San Francisco, and they had the right to bear arms. Then they changed legislation that took the gun out of the Black Panthers' hand, and it was sworn to protect their community. That's what we're supposed to do, okay? With all the cops beating up on us and hitting us in the head with the blackjacks and putting lumps every other place, and sometimes in a lot of cases killing us, and they're still doing it to this day. And I just want to share something with my family because I'm not the bearer of bad news. But I don't know if you guys are up on the incident that happened in Columbus, Ohio, because my nephew's in Akron, Ohio, where the sister was pregnant, and she was leaving a store, and there were two police officers. And they were dealing with another situation, and the lady got in her car, all right, and the guy was running out the store saying, she stole something. And the cops went over there, all right, and they confronted her.
Hello? We didn't hear you. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, he got cut off.
Oh.
He must have, I don't know what happened, but I'm familiar with this. The officers confronted this young woman. She was in her car.
Wait, hold on. My phone is talking over you. You solicited the what?
The officers started yelling at her to get out of her car. She got in her car, and she was going to drive off. And she, the one officer was yelling at her to get out of the car. And the other one pulled his gun out, and she was going to just drive off and not, get out. And when she went to drive off, the other one shot through the glass, and the bullet killed her. And when they rushed her to the hospital, they couldn't save her 7-month unborn baby. Baby was due in November.
Oh my God! Now that was overkill. Why didn't they shoot at the tires? That would have stopped the car.
That was right.
Why did they have to? They have shot at
to shoot in the glass of the car, and at point blank range. What?
And the baby was in the back, correct?
No, the baby was in utero. She was pregnant, 7 months.
Oh.
Pregnant. Baby,
they wouldn't have done that to no white woman. Because there was she stole something. So what? Big deal. Did she stole $1 million? She was driving away. They could have gotten her license, and at another time they could have went to her house and did all of that. That was overkill. And I hope they fire those cops. They need to fire them.
Well,
particularly the one who fired the shot.
The shot.
And there was no reason to shoot.
I think he's suspended. The other one is on desk duty. But
they should have had judgment. That was he didn't have to kill her. That's overkill.
Right.
Overkill. And she was driving away. She wasn't no threat to him.
And I mean, really and truly, a life over what's so valuable in the daggone grocery store.
Exactly. Exactly.
My daughter said she had a bottle of alcohol, not liquor. She had a bottle of some kind of liquor. So I don't know. Do they sell real liquor in the grocery store? I know here they sell some cheap wine, and $5.99. So what was her life? Is somebody's life is a bottle of liquor?
And an unborn baby.
Yeah.
Basically, our lives, black, because they never. Someone pointed out to me, you never hear them shooting a white woman or Puerto Rican or Chinese or Asian. It's only black women.
Yeah.
So it was a race. It was race, and they don't give a damn. It was to prove a point. How dare you steal something and you're not going to get away with it.
No value.
And they need to fire him. There's no value of our life. That was the reason why. Because he wouldn't have shot him
first. No suspension.
Right, he wouldn't have shot at a white woman. That's crazy. And so I guess where the show is over, I'm gonna go. You let Forrest know that I had to go.
I don't know.
Can I just say?
Forrest line is still showing on here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, there you go. All right, I was talking on mute. I told other people don't talk on mute. Go ahead, Brother Rashad. Sister DeBrow, we're going to let you go in 1 second. I know we're on borrowed time. Rashad, go right ahead.
It was alleged that she stole a bottle of liquor from a liquor store. That's what they said. And they said, according to the news report I saw, that she was trying to run over a cop that was in front of her car, and that's why this cop went and shot her. That's what I saw on the news the night that it happened. So, we don't know if any of that's true.
Right, because it sounds like
from what
the idea of them shooting her, like you said, they could have shot the tires out or whatever. They didn't have.
He stood in front of the car to keep her from driving.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
But she was gonna drive anyway, and so
he shouldn't have been in front of the car.
He should have moved.
First of all, what's he doing in front of the car?
Right, because a body can't stop a vehicle.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't make sense.
When he saw she wasn't going to get out, he should have moved from in front of the car. And
did they have that on the camera where he was in front of the car?
I think when he shot her, he was at the side of the car, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have proof that that one cop was in front of the car, because I don't think any cops that stupid to be standing in front of
the car. That's stupid anyway.
I don't believe that she was the cop was in front of the car.
I don't believe that
either. I believe they intentionally just killed her because they felt like it. Oh, we're going to kill this lady. That's all. Your life doesn't mean shit to them. They want to get home to their family, which is understandable. But she was not, and they were not in any immediate danger.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's when that's the cause, for to obviously to preserve your life. But she was no threat to them. They could have taken her license plate and then dealt with it later.
Later on, exactly. Suspend her license.
That's all they had to do. They didn't have to kill a pregnant woman. Get out of here.
And her alleged crime was not a crime of violence.
Right, exactly.
It wasn't even a felony, I don't think.
No.
That's a misdemeanor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, likely. It's a low level,
Yeah, but
right. Come on.
She stole something. She's dead now. That's crazy. Listen, before Gwen, I'm gonna take you off. I'm gonna say this real fast, and no comment, family, because Gwen got to go. My brother told me today, and he saw the video in Philadelphia, an Hispanic gentleman. The police came up to him, and they were just hollering, "Get out the car, get out the car!" And then the cop, just after a while, the guy he pulled out his gun and shot the Hispanic brother dead in his car.
Yeah.
So that was an incident in Philadelphia.
And Krasner's going to charge the cop with murder.
Good.
I saw that.
He just took his gun out, and then they said he had a knife. The boy didn't have nothing. He was sitting in his car. He didn't even get out. They shot him. Oh, Lord, I'm telling you. Family, our lives don't mean nothing. You have to be very careful. I would tell a cop in a minute, can I kiss the ring? Can I kiss your hand or something? I'm telling you, because they'll take you out if they feel like they want to kill you.
You want to survive.
Yeah.
You have to survive. You have to survive the encounter and deal with whatever later.
Hey, Gwen, I know I'm running overtime, sister. I appreciate you. We're going to bring you back when you got more time. And I'm going to make sure I give you a mic check 2 days before. Make sure that you give us a little more time, sis, because every time you come on, we engage with you, and this is your second time. Could you give people your contact information? Because I'm putting this on Odyssey, sister, so this way it's out in the world. So you might hopefully get some people that will call in that want to know more about Mamia's case. Go right ahead, sis.
Sure, they can call 917-678-5449. That's my cell. And,
all right.
I check it regularly, as we all do. And I look forward to coming on your show and being invited to other shows, because we have to make Mumia a household name. That's it's pressure. That's what's going to get Mumia out. When the system, they respond to pressure.
Right.
And that's exactly what we're going to give them, because the man is innocent, and he shouldn't, hopefully he shouldn't have to spend another birthday in prison.
And sis, what I'll do is one day next week I'll give you a call, give me information, I'll share it with the listening audience, and the event is going to be in Philadelphia, correctly, right? I'm saying that correct?
Which one?
The event that you got coming up in October. You say you're looking to do something in October, right?
No, that's going to be in New York. That'll be in New York.
Okay.
That'll be in New York and Harlem, hopefully.
Oh, okay. And what type of occasion will it be now?
It's going to be a report back of what's going on with Mumia's case. A report back, and we're going to have Samuel. What is his last name? I'm thinking.
Not Samuel Jackson, the actor.
No. This is a Samuel. I never remember. He did time. He did 20+ years in a Pennsylvania prison. He was on death row, and he was released last year. Mm-hmm. And his case mirrors Mumia's case as well. They wanted him to take a plea so he can get out sooner, but he said no. The Pennsylvania a district court ruled in his favor because he didn't have adequate attorney. His family actually came up with the money for them to hire a private lawyer, and the judge forced him to take a public defender, and obviously the public defender lost the case. So he was able to gain his freedom because he was the district Pennsylvania court ruled in his favor, and then the DA decided not to retry him because the cops that were involved in his case, so he said, they perished, they died, and one of the main witnesses decided not to testify. So he had no choice but to drop the case, and he was released off of death row. Samuel Austin, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he was released last year.
Mm-hmm. We're going to stay abreast of all these situations, sis, and rare justice, like I was saying earlier in my commentary. But I don't want to hold you up. One more time, give out your number, sis, because this is going on Odyssey, and I'm going to take you off, and I'm going to have Mr. Williams play a little music before we bring Brother Rashad on. Go right ahead, sister. One more time, your contact information, Sister Gwen.
Yes, it's Gwen DeBrow, 917-678-5449. 917-678-5449. Gwen DeBrow.
Okay. Well, sister, I'd just like to say peace and blessings, and I'll have Miss Carol, because we have Miss Carol, before Gwen goes, give her your information on your show.
Oh, my show is, and excuse me because I thought I was muted. My show is the Pink Sofa Talk, and it comes on Tuesday at 7:30 in the evening, and we talk about different things on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. It's ladies only, so you're more than welcome to come any week of the month. We'd be glad to have you, and we talk about a lot of things to encourage and inspire one another and lift us up and help us to move forward.
Okay, sounds good. So, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Miss Adrian, where you at real quick? Come on, Miss Adrian.
I'm right here. Can We Talk Fridays starting at 6 p.m. We talk about everything, family, community, church, school, some politics, and some religion. Can we talk
Alrighty.
Fridays at 6 p.m.?
All right.
Well,
okay.
Well, you know what? Yeah, Sister DeBra, if you're available, I might let Adrian borrow you so she could give some of her listeners an update on Mumia. Mr. Williams, coming real fast, please. Gwen got to go.
Yes, thankful that you are here to spread the word. Only a people's movement can cause this to change. To cause this incident, this issue to be resolved. In New York and Pennsylvania, people are elected by the people of New York and Pennsylvania. So if you elect Supreme Court justices, you can unelect them or not elect them. So therefore,
we don't elect the Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court is appointed by the president.
State Supreme Court. State Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm speaking of. You spoke of movements in New York and Pennsylvania. So people ought to know that they're elected. Therefore, you can vote against them and cause a change, perhaps. And I'd like to thank you because I have a program every Friday at 8 p.m. on this same network, combating systemic racism through education. And so I'd like to thank you for that, and I'd like to reach out. I have your number. I have all the information you told us about. I wrote it all down, and I'll be reaching out to you about these issues. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Peace and blessings.
Thank you. Peace and blessings to all of you.
All right. So I'm going to let you go, sis. Nobody else has spoke up. I don't know if you're out there. If you got 1 second. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Anybody with the show? Want to announce it? Okay. Well, with that being said, because we got to get up on the podium to my host. All right, sister, I'm going to let you go. Thanks again. Once again, sister, and I'll be reaching out to you for upcoming events. And Grown Folks Talking, we are going to make an effort to come on out there where you're at and support you, sis. And like I said, free Mumia. Thank you, Sister DeBra.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Free them all. Good night.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, give us Cold Ice, Sheer Magic, and we'll be right back with Brother Rashad Alameen, part 2 of the digestion for your health, good health, coming up. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. family, once again, disclaimer, the music that you hear is not being used for any economic reasons. It is being used strictly for the listening pleasure of the audience of Grown Folks Talkin Network. Without further ado, Brother Rashad, are you there, brother?
Yes, I am, my brother.
All right, I know that record took you back there, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Rashad El Amin.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be able to speak to you again. I want to say to Professor Williams, man, that cut really took me back. Late 60s, early 70s sound brings back a lot of type of memories for me. And I just love the music from that era there because that's what I grew up on. So I want to thank you again, Professor Williams, and keep playing that good music, brother. You know, I heard you last week, you played some doo-wop. Man, that really took me back. Blue Moon? That was something. But anyway, listening audience, I want to, again, thank you for coming on and listening to what I have to share. And again, shout out to Sister Brown for giving us that information update on Brother Mumia. We pray for him. So I'm going to continue from last week. We spoke about the colon. And so I got to the point where we're going to talk more about now probiotics, okay? And we're going to deal with the microbiome. And the microbiome, those are like microorganisms in a particular environment, including your body or a part of the body. And we depend on a whole army of microbes to stay alive, okay? So the microbiome that protects us against germs, breaks down food to release energy, and produces vitamins. So it's very important, okay? Gut health is very important, like I mentioned last week. If you have an unhealthy gut, you're susceptible to all types of disease. That's why you have to cleanse that colon and eat a high-fiber diet, a good plant-based diet, so you can have a healthy gut, okay? So let's look at probiotics, okay? And we know, and so I know a lot of you heard of probiotics and prebiotics and all of that, okay? So let's start with the basics. Now, we know the word probiotic literally means for life, okay? And we define them as organisms living inside and on us that have beneficial function for the health of the human body, all right? So the microbiome is not only living bacteria, but also includes some helpful types of yeast and other microorganisms. So I'm going to also refer to them as beneficial microflora or good microbes, okay? And, you know, let me just share this. I don't know how I might ask this question. Have you ever noticed that, you know, one person is bitten by insects more frequently than another? You know, some people might get more insect bites or bitten by spiders or whatever. And this happens a lot. And this is because of the uniquely different microbes on our skin produce. And they produce various chemicals that mosquitoes detect. Okay? Mosquitoes can detect this. And I remember reading in the book Sugar Blues by author William Duffy many years ago, and he explained on there, because he was talking about the microbiotic diet at the time, but people who eat a lot of sugar are often affected by insect bites. Insects love those who eat a lot of sugar. They're attracted to them, okay? So, and like I said, you know, these various chemicals that mosquitoes detect, and I guess they enjoy it. So remember that. Try to lay off as much sugar as possible so you don't get bit so much. And I noticed, I don't know, it's kind of strange, this year, I hardly seen a mosquito. You know, I like to sit on my porch sometimes towards the evening, you know, to read a book or whatever. And I remember last year and the year before, the mosquitoes, I seen them flying around and all. But this year, I think I've seen one mosquito the whole summer, which is very strange. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know where they're hiding or whatever. I mean, you know, I'm kind of happy they're not around, but it's kind of strange. There's so many strange things going on in our environment now. The same with our body. You know, our body's an environment also, and there's a lot of strange things going on there. So, you know, we got to really take care of our bodies. But anyway, we have like 100 trillion bacterial cells within our gut. 100 trillion bacteria. I don't know how they count these things. You know, they write about this and they mention it, but how do they count all that bacteria in the gut? Okay, but anyway, these bacterial cells within the gut are the small, with the small intestine home to a few billion, and the large intestine supporting tens of trillions. The large intestine, okay. So this bacterial population amounts to approximately, listen to this, 3 to 4 pounds. All this bacterial population in the gut amounts to approximately 3 to 4 pounds, and that's roughly the weight of a brick, okay? And in fact, bacteria make up 60 to 80% of the dry mass of your stool. Yes. 60 to 80%. Think about that. That's something to think about. Anyway, so we have good bacteria and we have bad bacteria, okay? And we want more of the good bacteria in our gut as opposed to the bad bacteria. Now, let's look at probiotics, all right, because that's really the subject here. And let's look at some of the primary purposes of the probiotics, okay? So one of them is to protect against pathogens, suppression of pathogens, okay? So another one, it supports your immunity. You know, alleviate allergies, strengthen your innate immunity to disease, and balance your immune response. Because the majority of your immune system is in your gut. So that's why you got to have a healthy gut. And we all know, like I always say, the reason a lot of us suffer with disease is because of a weakened immune system. Very important. Number 3 would be to maintain the intestinal barrier function and to alleviate leaky gut, food allergies, and abnormal immune response, okay? 4 would be reduces inflammation. This is what probiotics does, okay? It lowers the incidence of chronic inflammatory disease, like Crohn's disease, arthritis, or cardiovascular, okay? So this is important. This is very important because a lot of us suffer with inflammation. A lot of us have Crohn's disease. A lot of us have arthritis, okay? I mean, you see all these elderly folks walking with walkers, and when they walk, they're in pain because of arthritis, and especially in the joints. So this is painful for them, and they have to keep taking these NSAIDs to relieve some pain. Okay, so that's something to think about. Another one is it enhances detoxification. So probiotics helps with detoxification. You know, it increase the excretion of heavy elements and toxins. And we know a lot of us have a lot of toxins in our body, and they have to be removed, okay? A lot of it comes from the environment, a lot of it from the food we eat, a lot of it from water. So, yeah, we constantly have these toxins in the body, and that's why we have to detox as much as possible. That's very important. Keep a healthy gut. Another reason it produces what they call butyrate, valerate, propionate. Okay, now I know you probably say, what the heck is that? But anyway, these things protects the colon, reduces pathogens, encourages bacteria balance, and also for water absorption. Okay, so that's why it's good to have a good probiotic. And, a lot of people that have disease really need to have probiotics, okay? Also, probiotics manufactures vitamins and enzymes, okay? And helps with proper nerve function, also healthy skin and muscle tone. Vitamin K for proper blood coagulation. Now, you have probiotics that you can get with vitamin K in it. Also produces enzymes, reduces lactose intolerance, and reduce gas and bloating, which many people have, gas and bloating, okay? And also there's a gut-brain connection also with probiotics. So microbes in the gut have a great influence on brain function. Okay, we want to keep a healthy brain. That's important too as we get older. Some of us wind up with dementia or Alzheimer's, but we got to keep a healthy brain. So, maybe one day we'll talk more about the brain and what we can do to keep it healthy and things of that nature. Okay, so, we'll work on that, okay? So, most people, think that probiotics are only valuable for gut health and immunity. They don't realize, like I said, there's a wide range of other health benefits they offer. And it's amazing to think that most health problems can be traced back to an imbalance of gut microflora, some more directly than others, of course. And, there's so many probiotic products out there in the health food stores, or if you go online, you can see the different ones. It's good to get a real good probiotic if you need to. If you really have a good, healthy gut, you'll probably be all right. But there's certain foods like sauerkraut you can eat, which help develop good bacteria in your gut. Some fermented foods, pickles, things like that also help the gut, okay? So, just if you're not taking the probiotic capsule or whatever, those are some of the things we can do, okay? So, also, the first role of probiotics play in our health is protection against, pathogenic organisms and infections, okay? And infections. An example, just consider a few related organisms like certain types of E. coli, okay? E. coli, think about that. You've heard of E. coli. And these harmful organisms can quickly take over the intestinal system and lead to dangerous, even deadly infections, okay? We've heard a lot on the news of people who have died because of that, E. coli. These are things we have to be careful of. And so a lot of products we hear about being recalled and all these things, different meats and other foods, and that might be contaminated with E. coli, and it can take you out. That's why I've been hearing a lot on the news lately of all these different products that are being recalled. Not only because of E. coli, but certain packaged foods that have rocks in it and things of that nature. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's like if you want to purchase something, you want to be able to enjoy it, and then you find out there's something in there that doesn't belong in there, and now it's going to affect your body somehow. And it's a shame that, you can't trust it. That's why I always say try to stick to a plant-based diet as much as possible. Wash your vegetables and fruits thoroughly. At least there's not going to be rocks in an apple or in your lettuce or whatever. Okay, so you're safer with that. Watch these things. You got to watch them and make sure you get. I think there's somebody that needs to be muted there.
Mr. Williams, could you mute that person, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. So, these harmful organisms can quickly take over the intestinal system and lead to dangerous, even deadly infections. So our good microflora helps this from happening in a couple ways, okay? So the probiotics compete for space in the gut with pathogenic organisms. They also fight for food sources that help them both thrive, okay? So the more beneficial microflora we have in our gut, less space and food available for pathogenic bacteria to increase. Now, as you realize, too many harmful bacteria can lead...
Yes.
So it don't make no sense reading all the things.
Yes, I'm not reading. Beverly, give me a break.
Is that corrected now? Hello?
It's corrected. It should be.
Oh, okay. All right. Everybody should be on mute so don't we have any interruption here. Thank you.
Oh.
So, the more microflora we have in our gut, the less space and food available for pathogenic bacteria to increase, okay? And as you realize, too many harmful bacteria can lead to serious health. Repeat that because of the interruption there, okay? And so good bacteria also produce a byproduct called lactic acid, and our microflora thrives in this acidic environment, but pathogenic organisms do not. So a high amount of probiotics in our gut naturally creates an unfriendly environment for negative bacteria. Unfriendly environment for them, okay? So the other thing, probiotics play a critical supportive role in the development of both our innate and acquired immune systems. So your innate immune system gets its name because we are born with some factors in place that continue development shortly after birth. So your acquired immune system develops and changes over the course of your lifetime and learns from every exposure to a new substance. Okay, I don't know who that person is, but they need to stop making those noises.
Apologetics.
Huh?
Apologies.
Okay. You have to mute yourself. Okay, anyway. Exposure to the maternal bacteria during birth and breastfeeding initiates the development of the immune cells within the innate immune system. So the bacteria teach these immune cells how to respond to unknown invaders. So probiotics also stimulate production of an antibody in the small intestine called secretory IgA. Secretory IgA is the first line of defense against viruses, pathogenic bacteria, and parasites, and is part of your acquired immune system. Now, you got to realize many of us have a lot of parasites in our gut, okay, in our body. We have parasites. And that's why also we have to get rid of these parasites. And I mentioned quite a few times on this podcast that in order to get rid of parasites, you need to get either wormwood extract or black walnut extract. And these will remove parasites out of the body, okay? It's an extract. It comes in a liquid, and you can add it to a little bit of water and drink it, and it helps get rid of parasites. Okay, parasites can cause a lot of trouble, so we don't want them. They're just like in society, we got all kind of parasites running around, and they need to be get rid of too. Okay, so anyway, our beneficial bacteria in the gut also communicate to other organs around the body, such as the liver, the brain, and the lungs, and helps teach them how to develop appropriate immune cells. So it is our bacteria that keeps our immune system strong and responding appropriately. So that's very important. Also, probiotics help maintain the function of our intestinal barrier. Most likely you heard about the condition called leaky gut, and the medical term for this condition is increased intestinal permeability. Okay? It's commonly known as leaky gut because when the intestinal lining becomes permeable, it allows harmful organisms to pass through the gut lining and enter the bloodstream, and that's not a good thing. Okay? And probiotics help maintain the integrity of our intestinal lining so this doesn't occur. Okay? So that's very important. That's very important. And and a lot of that comes because a lot of us don't chew our food well. You're supposed to chew your food till it's almost a liquid. Not just take 2 or 3 bites and just let it bolt down your throat. No, you have to chew it well. I've seen people eating and, like back in the day, I remember, like when we were clubbing back in the day, before I even got into health, I used to, like, a lot of us used to go to the diner after we left the club, and you would see guys ordering pancakes and all that stuff. I wasn't into that, but and when they got the food, man, they take a nice big piece of pancakes, put it in their mouth, chew it twice, and bolt it down, and go right back. Oh my God! I decided really didn't chew this food, but this causes leaky gut. So there's people that eat too fast instead of taking their time. You got to stop eating fast. That's not healthy at all. Just chew your food well, and you can, avoid having this leaky gut syndrome. Okay. So again, probiotics help reduce the development of chronic inflammation in the body. There's many people that have inflammation in the body, and this will help with that, okay? And we know that ongoing chronic inflammation is very damaging to the body, especially your cardiovascular system, okay? Probiotics increase the production of the anti-inflammatory proteins in our bodies called cytokines. That's what it's called. These types of cytokines ensure a healthier inflammatory response. So if you have any inflammation, brothers and sisters, you should get some probiotics to help you with that, okay? And also probiotics enhances detoxification, okay? It enhances our body's natural detoxification process. That's very important. Excuse me. For example, some of these probiotics can bind with heavy metals in the gut. And you may say, well, heavy metals, yeah. A lot of your tap water has heavy metals, arsenic, lead, or everything. Okay, so this will help to bind with heavy metals. Like I said, mercury, lead, cadmium, arsenic, okay? All this stuff is found in a lot of this water. So once bound, the body can then excrete them in the bowel movement, okay? Yes, and remember the bowel movement is 60-80% bacteria. 80% bacteria. The probiotics can also help break down environmental pesticide residues in our food that end up in our bodies, like what's that pesticide, glyphosate. They talk a lot about that now. As a matter of fact, they have a lot of suits going on now. People who were in contact with Monsanto's glyphosate, which causes cancer. So probiotics can help break down these pesticide residues, okay? And never use that Monsanto pesticide, glyphosate. Very dangerous, very dangerous. You don't want that. And harms the environment and harms you, especially. So keep that away from you. Find something else, okay? Probiotics also produce what's called short-chain fatty acids, but in the colon. We spoke about that last week, and these include butyrate, valerate, and propionate, okay? These are made when the bacteria in our gut ferment the fiber in our gut, okay? So these short-chain fatty acids are critical to the health of our colon cells. They act as food for the cells and stimulating colon cell growth, okay? And a shortage of probiotics may mean less short-chain fatty acids and less turnover of our colon cells, leading to increased inflammation. So therefore, to ensure a healthy colon, brothers and sisters, we require those colon cells to reproduce. Okay, in fact, most gastrointestinal doctors measure butyrate levels to help determine the health of the colon. Another thing probiotics does is support the digestion of our nutrients and manufacture vitamins. Our gut bacteria have the ability to produce digestive enzymes, okay? We need those enzymes, brothers and sisters, okay? Enzymes are vitally important because they assist in the breakdown of our food known as digestion, and probiotics may produce protease, amylase, and lipase, which digest protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Okay, those are enzymes. Some people have to take enzyme supplement with their meals to help break down their food, okay? Because they may be eating foods like meat, things of that nature, and we need some enzymes to break this down. You know, fruits and vegetables have their own enzymes. We don't have to worry about that. But some other foods, processed foods, they don't have enzymes. Okay, so they lack enzymes, and these things are hard to digest. They don't break down well, and you wind up with an unhealthy gut. So remember that. And like I said, our food got to be thoroughly broken down to absorb nutrients efficiently. That's why you have to chew your food well. And additionally, you know, fully digested food reduces fermentation, which creates gas and bloating, okay? And probiotics also play a role in reducing symptoms of lactose intolerance, and that's problems digesting dairy, which most of us can't tolerate dairy. But, you know, we have a lot of fermentation in our gut because of food combinations sometimes. For instance, if you ate a meal, and after that meal, you decide to eat some watermelon, you don't have a problem with fermentation. Because of the fact watermelon digests very quick, and the other foods take a longer time. If you're going to eat watermelon, you have to eat it by itself, okay? It breaks down fast, and then wait a while before you introduce any other foods. But if you eat it after, now you're blocking that watermelon from digesting quick enough, and everything starts to ferment. So you wind up with the gas and everything else. I see a lot of people with wrong combinations of foods. You know, you look at their dishes with the food, bad combinations, and all these foods they come up with, all these different types of what they call them, recipes for burgers and stuff, using donuts with a burger inside and things. This is just totally ridiculous. The stuff they come up with, and people buy into it, spend all that money for this nonsense that's not healthy. That's just going to create more problems. Was it frying Oreo cookies and stuff? I don't know. So much stuff I see on here. I'm like, what's the purpose of that? You know, it just doesn't make sense. They feel because maybe the thing tastes good or whatever, but you're doing more harm than good. Anyway, let's go back. Our microflora also helps to manufacture essential vitamins like B vitamins and vitamin K. So the many notable roles of B vitamins, and we know the B vitamin is an energy vitamin, okay? But the B vitamins have been appreciated for a long time for proper nerve function, for healthier skin and muscle tone. And we, you know, I mean, there's so many valuable benefits also of vitamin K. First and foremost, vitamin K is essential for proper blood clotting. For proper blood clotting, vitamin K. That's something else to look into, brothers and sisters. Also, microbes in the gut have a significant influence on brain function, like I mentioned earlier. Okay, so we got to look at the gut-brain connection. Okay, a healthy and diverse microbiome is critical to the gut-brain connection by supporting healthy digestive function. In addition, probiotics and the byproducts offer many benefits to the brain, including decreased inflammation in the brain by way of strengthening the blood-brain barrier. It improves mood. Listen to that. It improves mood and reduces anxiety. Communicate with the vagus nerve, helps with the production of brain neurotransmitters like serotonin. Okay, this is something to think about. The vagus nerve is the main component of what they call the parasympathetic nervous system, which carries a significant range of signals from the microbes of the digestive system and organs to the brain and vice versa. So the vagus nerve controls peristalsis and regulates the production of stomach acid and support many other digestive processes, okay? And having suboptimal vagus nerve function can increase the chances of developing digestive issues, okay? So this is very, very important, brothers and sisters. And, before I even go further with the probiotics, so there's something I want to share also about the colon. This is very important, what I want to share with you here. And so the colon, if you ever seen a picture of the colon, it's like part of it is going up, then across, then down, okay? And so one part of the colon is called the transverse colon. That's the one that goes across the top, okay? And some of us have a prolapsed transverse colon where it just sinks down like into a U shape. So when we have prolapses, all the organs above the transverse colon are going to fall as well, and those below it will suffer the effects of pressure. So when the transverse colon comes down, for example, bladder pressure develops. The uterus can develop what they call flexions and rectoflexions and could double over the bowel, causing constipation. And we sometimes find that there is pressure on the fallopian tubes or the ovaries. So many times the egg from the ovary, listen, sisters, cannot pass into the uterus properly, and this can cause sterility. So further, we find that women have more cysts on the ovaries than on any other organ of the body. And there are more hysterectomies given to women than any other operation, okay? I believe it's because of a good deal of pressure is against the tubes, pressure which does not allow proper circulation of blood or the removal of toxic material. But women are not the only ones subject to pressure cause troubles. A man with a prolapse transverse colon experiences prostate gland pressure, okay? And the urethra, through which urine flows from the bladder, passes through the center of the prostate gland. When there's pressure on the prostate gland, urination is difficult, and there will be retention of urine, which is one of the liquids we can absorb back into the body. And this can mark the beginning of arthritis and joint troubles, especially as we grow older, okay? So we find we can have prostate gland and bladder troubles, uterine, ovarian disturbances, all because of prolapses caused by gravity. If you get a chance, Google a prolapsed colon, and you can see a picture of what I'm speaking about, okay? That's very important because you'll see what a healthy colon looks like, and you'll see what a prolapsed colon will look like, okay? So that's very important, brothers and sisters. You check it out. Take a look at it, okay? This is very important. Now, there's also what pockets of diverticular and ballooning in the bowel. This is non-moving waste accumulating in the colon. These conditions are ripe for putrefactive fermentation to occur in considerable flatulence. You know what that is, passing wind. Discomfort, seepage of toxins into the body. Now, when it gets to that putrefactive point, putrefactive fermentation, your body starts to give out a foul odor. This happens when you have a really bad diet. You have a lot of garbage in your system. I don't care how much you shower. Even after you shower, that odor still persists. Think about that. That's why you got to keep your colon healthy. And there's a lot of people that I know. I remember a couple of people very obese. And I remember this gentleman who was very obese. And so he asked me one time to move his car because, he had difficult walk and everything. I said, okay, I'll do that for you. I tell you, when I got in that car, oh, my God. I said, I can't do this. The odor was so bad. I said, if I go in this car, move this car, I'm going to smell like that. It's going to be in my clothing and everything. It was terrible. It was terrible. So I told the guy, listen, man, don't worry about the car. Just leave it there. We'll be all right, But it just shows you, the fermentation is so putrefied, and it just releases that odor. It's the same with athlete's feet. Athlete's feet is the feet, just what you call farting. It's plain and simple. That's why a lot of those people can't get rid of that odor of athlete's feet. You see? So, because of the colon. So we got to keep these things in mind, brothers and sisters. I mean, it's not making fun or anything. It's just that, these things are for real. We see this happening all the time. So if you can, when you Google and try to get a picture of collapsed colon, also look at what they call colitis, inflammation of the colon. See if you can Google that. These are pictures. When you see them, you say, "So, oh my God, I don't want that to happen," because this is one of the reasons for colon cancer, and also diverticular. Also, these are little pockets that build up, going out of the colon, and these pockets create all kind of problems. Okay, and they have spasms. You can see pictures of spasms in the colon, and also what they call strictures, where part of the colon, if you ever look at the colon, it's like everything, the muscle of the colon is the same all the way throughout, but a stricture is like it got to the point where it's so thin, it creates blockage. Okay, you just have to look these things up. This way you can get an idea, and maybe looking at these things will help you want to change your diet, because these are the things that are going to create cancer and also all kind of health problems. So this is very important. But I just wanted to divert and share that with you because I thought it was important. Now, go back to probiotics and how these probiotics are named. Okay.
Brother Rashad?
Yes?
Just want to say something, brother. It's at a little bit after the top of the hour, and Sister Nabia, we got to welcome her back because she comes on at 8:30. So, my brother, we're about to shut everything down in 5 minutes, so you want to give a final thought. And once again, thank you, brother. I'm going to take you out in style, brother.
Okay, man. I want some of that good music that my good brother, Brother Williams, is going to share. And, man, if he can play I Only Have Eyes for You, I would love to hear that one. That's one of my favorite doo-wop songs of all time. But anyway, lastly, I'll just say, brothers and sisters, please, 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 try to eat healthier. Try to eat a plant-based diet as much as possible because it has a lot of fiber. Okay? If you need a probiotic, shop around for a good probiotic. You can Google and see all types of probiotics that you can purchase, okay? Maybe you might need some enzymes, for digestive enzymes to help you digest certain foods, because a lot of us are not going to eat completely healthy. We're still going to eat some, foods that are unhealthy, so we need to have this to help with digestion. So anyway, I appreciate everybody listening in. I'll probably have a different topic next week. But you know what? I just have to say this because lately, of course, our good Professor Williams, speaking about history and stuff, Black history, I'm reading more. I have so many Black history books here, but I'm reading more and more. And it's like, man, it's like I'm getting into that more than my health. Reading on health, so I'm like, I just enjoy reading about our history. I always say, when Brother Professor Williams comes on, if you have grandchildren, children, or whatever, have them tune in so they can hear our history, so they can share that with their children in the future. This is very important. We have to teach them that. But anyway, I want to thank you all, and hopefully I'll be on next week. Brother Forrest?
Brother Rashad, can you hear me?
I hear you, yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right. Well, Brother Rashad, I'd just like to say thank you so much for that presentation, and also peace and blessings to you and the family. And I would just like for the listening audience to know we're going to finish up with our dear sister Nabia, Healing the World. She'll be on in about another 15 minutes. 8:30 p.m., family. So on behalf of Grown Folks Talking, express yourself. We want to thank you. And we'll check you guys out. Come on at 6 p.m. next Saturday. And we'll have Dr. James Pruitt. His testimonials coming on next week. And Brother Scott will be back. So peace and blessings. Everybody hang up and come on back for Sister at 8:30 p.m. Everybody take care. Bye. Hit me, Mr. Williams.